Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Champagne Sundays with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Well, happy April 5th, 2020, everybody. Just in case we don't remember what day it is anymore, everything's becoming a blur, not just because it's Champagne Sundays, but being in this quarantine situation. But, hey, today is a very important day. It is National Deep Dish Pizza Day.
There you go.
It is also National Geologist Day, okay? That's cool.
I like that.
Geology rocks, man. It does.
Oh.
Yeah. So, everyone, welcome to Big Blend Radio Champagne Sunday Show with your hosts, crazy hosts, Nancy and Lisa. We're the mother-daughter travel team on our Love Your Parks tour where we travel full-time when we're allowed to, and it's healthy to do so, documenting parks across the country. You can see all of that in our digital magazine, Parks and Travel magazine. And we also have a Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. And today we are airing live once again from the historic and beautiful Homestead Inn in 29 Palms, California. Check it out. You can go to the website. It's 29inn.com, Homestead Inn, 29 Palms. You can do all of that. It's beautiful out here. You can actually see the entrance way down the road to Joshua Tree National Park here. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. So check it out. So today's show, very excited. We've got Deborah Crooks joining us. She's a singer-songwriter from the Bay Area. She has been on our show before with her album, with Bay Station, her band, Other Desert Cities, and she was on back in 2018, I think it was. And their album was written as part of an adventure here in Joshua Tree, so it's pretty cool that she's on the show today. She's got her fourth new album out, her solo album. It's called The Department of the West. It rocks. It is like
very cool.
It is road trip music because it's just if you feel the land and the nature and geology, but you feel the relationships of life and people and just it's like a tapestry album. It's awesome. So very cool to have you back on the show, Deborah. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good. It's fabulous that you're in Joshua Tree area in 29 Palms, just because the last time we talked, that was all the project we had written a lot about down there. And I'm doing good. I'm very grateful. I mean, we're sheltered in place like everybody and figuring out, staying creative amid it all, which is good. So, we're grateful. It's as much as you can be in these times. So thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, this is cool. I know it's so funny because we were going to record this and things got wonky no matter what we did, and it was like it was destined to be live. This was like it was,
right.
This was supposed to happen. And it's funny, being out here in 29 Palms, our new thing is we walk around the neighborhood trying to count 29 palm trees.
I know.
Oh, really?
Angles. It's a pandemic palm tree game. No, just kidding. But everyone, I want you to know on Wednesday we're having a happy hour show featuring Hoagie Forrester. She's an actor, and her husband, acclaimed artist and muralist Chuck Kaplinger. His art actually was on the front cover of our print magazine back in the day when we had Southwest Blend, when we were printing. And so we're going to be chatting with him. It's been like over, I would say, 10, 15 years since we've interviewed him. So he'll be on the show. His wife, Hoagie, she's done all kinds of crazy things as an actor, including diving in a tank of anacondas in a game show. So I don't know, man. There's all kinds of things to chat with her about. And then Brianna from the Visit 29 Palms will be here, so we're going to talk about what you can see and do once this is over. So, life is not, sadly, this is not a funny situation for those who are affected by COVID-19, and so it's a sad thing, and we are losing people in life here, but the thing, too, is that all things do pass, and we will get through this, and travel will resume, and we can go back into our parks, and we can go and play again. Maybe we'll all be wearing masks, Have you got to wearing a mask yet, Deborah?
Well, yesterday I just made my first bandana mask with a bandana folded and 2 rubber bands. And it's raining here, so I actually have not been outside yet today. But yeah, it's starting to be the thing up here, and I ordered some as well because I was thinking I'd sew them, but I don't really sew. And then I saw someone was selling them that sews. So long story is yes, I'm getting there. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, you know, you go to the store or whatever, and you think, I think I'm going to have to do that kind of thing because, it's interesting. You don't want it. You don't want anyone to cough on you, or you know what I mean. It's weird out there. But I have a Who rag that Priscilla, our sock monkey, wears as a dress. And it's a national park. It's from our friends over at, people check it out, wanderlustmark.com. They have gear for national park junkies, and just type in national park junkie, you'll find it. And it's a map, has a map of all the national parks on it. It's very cool.
Oh, cool.
And so I put that on, and I just covered my nose and mouth, and I'm like, dude, man, I'm sporting like the parks, and I'm keeping clean.
Like the Lone Ranger.
I know. It's pretty cool, So
who is that mask woman?
I know. And if you need to pull it up and drink champagne, you can. So it's a really cool thing.
Need a hole in the straw.
Yeah. So check out Who rags. Like, I think that's a good way of doing it. To cover up. So you're getting rain up in the Bay Area, and wow. So you guys were doing a lot of videos as Bay Station Band on boats. You tend to do a lot of live feeds.
We're still doing well. It's going to be different, changed, but at Bay Station, one of our projects, because we need to walk to our little sailboat to the from where we live, and so we always would go out, and there's a couple boat instruments that live on the boat. There's a small 6-string guitar and a small Weissenborn guitar. So we played on the boat when we were out, and then we started inviting friends to do it, and then we started doing a video series of fellow artists playing on the boat, and we talked to them, and then we all play together. And so that's one of the projects it's going to be different. The next one will be the quarantine edition. Let's put it that way, because it'll be just the two of us, because we can't invite anybody to come on the boat with us.
You can infect each other. That's how it feels. It's like, okay, one of us goes down, the rest of us are, but
I know.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Try not to go there. It's really seems like, I'm very grateful to be a creative person in this time, because in one way I think, like you have your radio show, like what it is to make projects kind of on your own and do things, so that's one good thing, that we kind of all the instruments and everything's here, so there's actually more music that's happening.
Yeah,
and
all the musicians I know, they're writing. It's kind of like, okay, creative think tank, and then all the live streams that are going on. It's like we just have like a concert. Like yesterday afternoon, I was like every few minutes on Facebook. All my friends are probably like, "What's? She's not doing any work," but I was. You'll tune in and see where everybody is, and then you work, and the live stream thing is pretty cool. And there's this, I think, this more interactive thing going on between musicians and their audiences by doing the live stream, in a way.
It's very direct, and one thing we've been doing where we live in Alameda, and this would work great in 29 Palms or Joshua Tree, I think, was that someone put an idea out to do, like, it was inspired by all the Italians singing at the same time out their windows. Mm-hmm. And there's another community that howls at the same time in the evening. And Alameda, every Friday at 6 p.m., they invited musicians to play on their porches or balconies. So we've been doing a porch concert. We've done 3 every Friday at 6 p.m. And what's nice is that people, if they physically do the correct physical distance, there's people that are on the sidewalk and in the Meridian and the street across the sidewalk across the street. And that's been nice, because it's like a real audience, and the neighbors can kind of come and be socially distanced and kind of interactive at the same time. And we've live streamed that. So it's a little more interactive, but it's one of the things that it's now like, well, that's our gig for a while, Friday nights at 6 p.m. at our house.
Kind of a cool thing with or without a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's kind of a really cool thing to do anyway. It might be a tradition that sticks.
That's the thing. Like our friend James Saunders, he's out in South Africa, and he did a balcony concert. And I don't know, but his neighbors filmed it, and they must have had drones or something, because they went around the neighborhood as he was, singing, and they cut down little clips from each song he played, and you could see the sun setting. I mean, he's up just above Cape Town. And I'm like, dude, I'm homesick now.
Yeah,
I'm really homesick. I want to go back there.
Yeah.
It's like if I see anything in South Africa, because, just our time there, and it's like, but you're seeing dogs walking around the neighborhood and people on their roofs, and I'm like, this is cool. That is so South African to have the dogs just do whatever they're like, I don't care what's going on, So it's cool, and I think there's positives that come out of these negative situations. And on that, it is time for a champagne toast. So, Nancy, what are you toasting to today? This is family tradition. We got to, no matter what in life, raise a glass. It doesn't have to be champagne. It can be water. It could be beer. It could be tea, wine, whatever you want. Bloody Mary. Yes, you got tea. Well, we got something that's got a little bit more content and bubbles. It is Champagne Sunday tradition here. But, Nancy, what are you raising your glass to?
Well, I'm going to toast to John Ogilvy, he came up with the first road map in 1675 for Britannia Atlas. So, I mean, we love travel, and one thing that both Lisa and I are really experts at is getting lost, with or without a map. But it's always cool when you can have a map that you can blame. So it's National Road Map Day. So I say, people, get your road map out. Even if you can't travel, you can plan to travel.
Hey, gas is cheaper now.
Yeah.
Road trip. You could road trip if you just
could
don't
road
talk
trip
to people.
in your backyard,
And wear gloves when getting gas.
Yeah. Just get your road map out and plan your next trip, because you will make it. So you're going to have to go traveling and have some fun there. So I say, get your road maps out. Turn them upside down.
Like we do.
And plan a trip.
Every time you take a right, you turn the map right. Every time you go left, you turn the map left. That's how we get along.
That's how you go in circles.
That's why we went in circles in the Bay Area.
Yes,
and
we did.
Don't ever ask me how we got around anywhere or made it to any appointment or meeting. I don't know how we did it.
But we still ended up at the base of the Cape Bridge. I don't understand.
Plus, they have really good other fun things in the Bay Area that make you
that could have something to do with
lose brain cells. But anyway, Deborah, what are you raising a glass to, or your tea to?
Oh, I'm just going to raise it to health and happiness, because I think if we got it, really celebrate it. And I think that's the challenge right now. And I do know that I feel grateful for being here and the places I've been. I definitely know that feeling of being a little nostalgic, and talking to you reminds me of all these places. But I think right now I'm just health and happiness of everybody.
I like that.
Possible.
I'm toasting to desert lilies. So
why not?
No, because so you don't always get to see a desert lily.
Yeah.
It is when there's enough rain in the winter to make it happen. And there's a desert lily sanctuary just east of Joshua Tree National Park. In fact, it's like by kind of when you go to Desert Center, not Desert Center, there's all I know is I know how to get there on this road. And around Easter time they bloom. Yeah, exactly. Get a map.
Get a map.
So anyway, years ago when we lived out here, we went out there and it wasn't time for them to bloom, but we could see what was happening. These lilies, they're almost like rare in some areas. And this morning we got up for the sunrise as usual, and I normally take a nice walk. Nancy and I go walking in the sun and sunrise and say hello to all the birds and everything. But this morning, Jerry, who owns the Homestead Inn, her and I went out, and it was time. It was like there's trash in the neighborhood because of the winds and everything. So it's not that people are trashy. It's just there was, I was saying, we were on the walk, and I don't want to pick anything up at this point because we don't know who, what, and where, right? So she was like, well, we got to do something about that. And we went out, and we went cleaning up litter this morning. Straws, people, get rid of that's just
please.
Yeah, and especially anything that was for, that could hurt wildlife. Lo and behold, there are desert lilies in bloom, and we could see the buds, and we couldn't believe it. Like, they're here. And she's got amazing property here that you just forget that you're in a town. It's just mountains and trees and flowers and lizards and
bunnies.
So all of a sudden we're like, look at these. Oh, my gosh. We saw like 5 of them. And just as we were walking back home, full bag of trash, we turned around and there was this just glorious, and it's the word for it, desert lily, standing proud with full blossoms, showing off as the sun had just risen, and like, here I am. And I'm like, dude, that is the best way to start the day. Like, I always thought sunrises, but when a desert lily says, here I am, I'm sorry, but it's magical.
It's a sign.
I don't know, but I feel really good. I cleaned up trash. I saw the sunrise. I took a walk. I was bending up and down, so I got some exercise. And I saw all these desert wildflowers and cactus and the Mormon tea, the ephedras blooming. And anyway, I geeked out. So I toast to Mama Nature because I feel like even during all this quarantine stuff that she's getting some time off from human activity, and she's having a good time. Good for her. She should. Yeah.
Definitely. I think that's been huge the past month, just seeing how regenerative nature is and being reminded of that as we go through these big challenges. And great that you're in a place that you're really close to it. I'm glad I can get to the water, because that's the hardest thing, is like not going like, oh, let's go hike. It's like, okay, where can we go from our door? And I'm fortunate, like we can get to some good places easily, but that's beautiful. Beautiful. I'm actually drinking my tea out of a cup with a desert cactus
bunny
flowering with a bunny on it.
There you go. But the level of pollution is going way, way, way down in a lot of areas because of the lack of travel right now. So it is something to remind ourselves of what we actually are doing to Mother Nature, and maybe cutting back is something to start thinking about a little more seriously, because when you see that the skies are actually really clear and the smog is gone, and it's kind of a, hello people, we do cause it. I know nobody wants to hear it, but we do. We cause pollution.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, the straw doesn't like just pop off its
it doesn't
cup
come
and
from
walk
nowhere.
into the desert. So that's that. But and this was a good segue into your album, The Department of the West. I was writing about it on my Facebook page today. That it's, what did I say about the album? I have to look this up now, because to me it's like you've got like this. It's Americana, but it's not, and it's also like I feel like Chrissy Hind and Emmylou Harris hung out with you and did this with you. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
I love both of them.
I know, because I was like listening to this. I'm like, and you've really, really, even listening to Base Station, you really have your own thing. This is your own style and sound. It's like there's a, and I always appreciate that. But I said, it's rugged, real, and beautifully textured music that sings the songs and stories of the land, relationships, and life. That's what I was saying about it. Because I do feel like you're very connected to the earth. There's
I love that it's. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think the more I go on, it's kind of everything. I'm very place aware, and I'm a California native, and I grew up on a piece of land, and I love beautiful places like what we went when we did other desert cities. That was staying in the desert and just how that works on you, and this was really a bit more encompassing, just thinking about my own history and my family's history in the West, and and thinking about Native American history too, because you can't, the more you look at our impact on the land, and then you pull back and you realize like there was actually people here that knew how to be here in a way that was sustainable, and I've just always been I grew up pretty close to nature, and when I'm if I feel too far away from it, it's like I feel like I wither, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's and probably like you got out today, seeing the sunrise and noticing what plants are there, like that's so nourishing. And then the other thing about a lot of the songs were written while I was I've done a few different types of songwriting residencies lately, and a lot of the songs I on this album I was spent 2 weeks over 2 years just in Idaho by the Stanley River, and so I was doing a writing intensive there. So being by the river, the land around there just got me thinking and kind of prompted a lot of the imagery that shows up on the album, like what the land will tell you, or the river stones and things like that.
Yeah.
I was right on the Salmon River, so you probably been through there because it's another gorgeous place in the world, and sawtooths and. So
no, we
yes,
haven't done that yet.
Long answer.
We haven't done that yet. But where you were, I think, is Hell's Canyon out there. Isn't that Hell's Canyon territory where Debbie Stone, another Debbie, and her last name's Stone. So it's her day today. So it's Geology Day. Hey, let's play River Stones. I love this song.
Sure,
it's one of my favorites
great.
on the album, and it's
Thank
Geology
you.
Day, and you're talking about that. Let's play. I was going to start with Department of the West, but everyone's going to have to wait. So here it is. We're going to start at the end of the album.
Yeah, why not?
11 tracks. Let's go with the 10th one, okay? So here it is. River Stones, again, everybody, the album is The Department of the West, and again, by Deborah Crooks. And you can go to her website, deborahcrooks.com, and Bandcamp. What are the best places for everyone to reach out to you?
Those are two great places. My website and Bandcamp have all the albums. So you start there, and then Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all under, and Spotify if you looked up Deborah Crooks. Yeah.
Okay. Just type in Deborah Crooks, and she'll pop right up. Here it is, River Stones.
The mountain holds us steady and strong. Earth rumbles, moves us along. First a boulder, then a rock. Falling, turning, knock, knock. We're just river stones, finding our way home. Together and alone. We're just
that was River Stones by Deborah Crooks, and it's on her brand new album, her fourth full-length album, her solo album. It's called The Department of the West, and she's here with Nancy and I here on Big Blend Radio, and I love that song. I want to go.
Cajun in it.
I know.
It's got that little Cajun feel to it.
I feel like going to Louisiana with it.
I feel like taking my clothes off and running around in the sun.
Oh, are we taking clothes off again? Oh,
Already.
boy, here we go. It happens a lot. When we hear music like this and the sun is shining, we want to go and, anyway.
There it is.
That's how it is. But I love that song, and I think it's, Nancy always talks, there's that Native American proverb that this river must go home, And it's, when you think about what we've done across the country, like with the Colorado River and, damming the rivers and how all of this is changing. Now we're starting to have to undam the damn river. So, so it's an interesting thing what we've done, I don't know.
Well, sometimes you do things without knowing that you shouldn't. Sometimes you do things knowing you shouldn't. You do it anyway.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, and I think eventually nature will have its way.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's fighting back big time.
Yeah, I think right now that's what's happening in a certain way. We all have to sit in at home and. No escaping where we're at and what we have and what we've done and all different sorts of ways and
yeah.
And what's the highlight is we can actually change a whole lot of what has happened. We really can. So it's not all doom and gloom.
No.
We can change what's been done. We just need to make up our mind which is more important, the earth or money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it starts with the relationship. Like we all obviously love beautiful land, places, and we've had the privilege and made it happen to get to gorgeous places. And once you know that, like you were talking about, back to your lily, once you see something so amazing and have the attention for it, you can't really go back. And I think that's the thing, is just like how to keep kind of, honoring and paying attention to those beautiful places. And I wrote Riverstones because I was literally looking at a mountain and the river was in front of me, and it was like all these rocks have made their way. This is totally a geology song.
Yeah,
all those rocks have, over how many years did it take them even to get to the place where I'm sitting? And it takes, things get there, but everything and everybody has this completely different path. And I don't know. It's like it gets into the bigger pictures of what's it all mean, but in general, it's like that's the good thing. If you are moving forward and exploring and staying curious, you can't help but learn and realize how actions make results. And then, like you say, you can change, if you change your action, whether that's stopping the not harmful one or making a more helpful one, that's going to help turn things. So
absolutely,
that's I think where we have to sit today, is realizing everything we do matters. And like now, staying home and doing nothing really makes a big difference. And we have to trust that,
Well, your song "Long Roads" gets into the Me Too movement side of things, right? And I even think, "Long Roads," that title is the same thing as what climate change. It's taken a long time for this to happen. Now things are speeding up, but it's a long road to get people to understand. In the song, one of the lyrics you talk about, you say, "Can't touch me now when I'm at the mic," and that is so how it is. There's almost this like, when you're being stalked, you know what I mean, by one of those just disgusting dudes, you have to almost put yourself in public so that they can't touch you, you know what I mean? Or they'll try and touch you, you know what I mean, with it not looking bad, but what they're doing, you know what I mean? I remember back when we had our band years ago, we hired this drummer, and I was in front of him, and there was like suddenly you couldn't. He was watching my ass, and I, and so I was like, and I had a really good ass back then, but and so I'd be like, you couldn't feel comfortable behind, you know what I mean? You couldn't perform because you couldn't dance around stage as much, like you felt like really someone just leering, like lurking and like almost drooling over behind you, even though he was behind his drum set, but he couldn't touch me. But it was that, and then when I heard that song, I just really, and you'd get men in the audience that would just be weird, and then if you get off stage, you make sure you hang out, with the bass player, who'll hit him. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. This could be a whole multi-part episode, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the past few years. A good thing about the Me Too story is women. There's feeling like they're going to be heard because we're taking each other seriously and realizing, I wasn't alone. I wasn't imagining things. It doesn't have to be that way. When so many generations have been taught that about it, that it's just inequality is the way it is, and that's another system that's changing, and there's still a long road ahead, and that I see this like different generations that the younger generations are way ahead of it as far as their own personal liberation and feelings of equality, and that's because of all the women before, and and then there's everybody's personal evolution of realizing, I can speak out. And I definitely feel like, that's a lot of my story. It took me a long time to get the guts to sing, and take the power, take my own power. And I think it is parallel to the environmental movement. It's completely the same thing. Like, wait, it doesn't have to be this way. There's so many things that we can do that are sustainable and make it better for everybody. And it takes everybody speaking up and taking action so that the people who are used to the power don't just assume it. And
okay, now I could start should we start with the politics side now? Because that's right in both of them.
Well, it's,
that's smack in the middle of it all.
Right, and it's why we just have to keep. That's excellent. I'm really glad I'm getting interviewed on a radio that's run by two women. That's radical. You do it now. You don't probably think that anymore, but great, because it's just like women's voices need to be out there, and at the very least, so other women can go, hey, there's someone like me talking, or wait a second, I can speak up, they get to speak up, because until you see it, you don't know you can. And that's so much of the long road, is like as much of my own, getting rid of my own ignorance of this is the way it has to be, and taking, moving forward as much as the greater collective. And life is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we have to play Long Roads now. But Nancy, go ahead. No,
I was just going to say that there's a bullying factor in nature. There's a bullying factor in people, and you can spot it a mile away. It's even in their body language. It's how they speak, and a lot of bullies. We tend to think of them as men always, but that's not true. Men and women everybody has a personality and a makeup, and there is a bullying factor. And I always, because I'm such a fan of nature and thinking, okay, who gets to be the leader of the pack? Is it the biggest bully, or is it the smartest one? Is it brain or is it brawn? And so I think that's totally evolving all the time of, okay, if you're really a smart leader, you don't need the bully because you can use intellect to get other people to do what you need to have done. If you are I'm looking for a word here. If you're not a really talented or intelligent or caring leader, you use bullying tactics. And so when you learn to spot a bully, at least you know how to vote. And when you learn to spot a bully, you know to cross the street. And when you learn to spot a bully, you know who to do business with, who to have as a friend, and who not to.
Oh, well done. Yes, and that's in everybody in life, not just politics. It's in work. It's in relationships, even, between, a husband and a wife. One could be a bully. And I know women bullies, too.
And bullies operate from fear and insecurity, and people who are fearful and insecure are dangerous.
Yes.
They can be dangerous because they react instead of think. So that's my thing on
right.
Well done, Nancy. Can I come sit on a couch next to you?
As long as you stay 6 feet away.
Well, let's play Long Roads. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
No, go ahead. Say what you're going to say, Deborah.
Oh, no, I was just applauding Nancy. Another toast. Another champagne toast.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Hey, what kind of tea are you drinking? I love tea.
I'm drinking this turmeric ginger tea from this place here in town called Julie's. It's a small business, and they really nicely are still doing deliveries. So they're delivering. They have, they make their own tea blends, and
turmeric is good for immune systems right now.
So healthy.
Good thing to have.
Exactly. So,
and you can dye clothes with it too.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I used to do a lot of Ayurveda kind of stuff, like back when we weren't traveling. And turmeric would be really good for, like, if you have asthma or respiratory problems, and you can just put turmeric on your chest, you will go yellow, which is fun. I think it's fun. I think it's great when you can.
You too could be a blonde.
Yeah, but you could, So anyway, here it is. Let's play Long Roads again, everybody, off of the album The Department of the West, and here it is. Take a listen.
Headed for the car, maybe not trusting your eyes, but yeah, that was me. Setting up the microphone, pulling out a guitar, then around the world when you come back home and look like you've been far. Doesn't mean you can't be proud of who you are. Long road. exactly as I see them.
Again, that was Long Roads from the album The Department of the West by Deborah Crooks. Go to her website, deborahcrooks.com. She's on Facebook, Bandcamp, Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, tweet, all of those great places. Go keep up with her and go get the album. I wanted to that is pretty anthemic. Like, I feel like, we could be driving and, like, just everyone singing that really, really loudly. The guitar on that song specifically, to me, it just all the music on this. Tell us about the musicians involved and who's playing that guitar and that slide.
Oh, yeah, I got a great band together. There's a local guitar player producer, Danny Allen, so I called him up. I'd only been acquainted with him, but I loved his work, and I just said, hey, you want to help me co-produce a record? I knew knew exactly the sound I wanted, and then I worked with the same drummer I've worked with for probably 10 years, Mike Stevens. He played on all the Bass Station stuff too, and he's just great to work with. And then I got Kevin T. White, who is he's an excellent bass player in San Francisco who plays with a lot of great bands, and he was off the road, so I called him. And they were just awesome to work with. But Danny Allen's playing all the guitars, except the acoustic, which is me. And then harmonica, Kwame came in and played harmonica and sang backup on some of the tracks, who is my Bass Station cohort. And so it was a great group, great band, and we did it pretty efficiently. We tracked it to tape at Tiny Telephone in San Francisco, and I had a great engineer, Miriam Kados, a woman who was awesome to have on there's not many women engineers still, and she was
I know,
awesome.
Right?
So I definitely wanted to have, and then Heather Davison is singing backup on that. She's in a great band, Loretta Lynch. So I really just love all the people, and it's really that played on it, and we played a few shows before the shutdown, and then all the shows are just canceled right now. So other than Porch concerts, which I'm grateful for, but it's weird not being able to play with a band right now. Like, it's not even an option. So
I know that's
strange.
It's bizarre. There's all kinds of things people are doing, like going back to the old school way of recording through, like, connecting through Dropbox and Skype and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, I know there's that electric live family vibe, of a band and shenanigans and getting down to work and some wanting to do shenanigans. And, there's just all that it's a family. Bands are family, and it's just, it's odd to not be around people. It is weird. Not
it's
to be
very odd.
And some parts of me really like not being around people. So there's that too. But I wanted also the cover, the album cover. I love the cover. It's so reflective, and I just love the art on it. And just it's like it's almost like it's very, very reflective of life.
Thank you. The photo came from a shoot for Long Roads that we haven't finished the video yet, and then I had some other photos from driving through Wyoming, and I really liked this. I've been looking at some kind of more surrealistic paintings I liked, and then my friend Maurice Tani, who is another excellent songwriter, musician. He's also does a lot of graphic art, and I just said, hey, would you want to work on the cover? These are some images I have, and he did that. So, yeah, thank you. I'm happy. Sometimes you do a project, and you're like, well, that kind of came out okay, but I made the album I wanted to make, and that felt good.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So,
no, that is awesome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a very important question.
Uh-oh.
Well, I know. Okay, I'm ready.
No, this is massive important. It's Deep Dish Pizza Day. So, Deborah, do you like deep dish pizza?
I do, but I don't have it that often. Though there's but I have a soft spot for anything pie-like. So definitely this reminds me, there's a good place called the Star in town that has really good deep dish pizza, and I should see if they're doing deliveries, because maybe we can have a pizza delivery. But yeah, just like
pizza.
Spinach cheese pie, can't go wrong.
Pizza's the best.
Yeah. So deep dish. Okay. So Nancy, I know if it's anything to do with pizza, she's in.
Mm-hmm.
We're both in. It's like listen, when you travel on the road, like pizza, because it's perfect for the morning. You can wrap it up and put it in your hotel room refrigerator.
Anything with it.
If you have a place where you can cook, you can fry an egg on top and heat it up for breakfast. It's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man,
so good.
she does it like as though it's eggs Benedict on it. It's like.
Yummy.
Yeah. Now I'm like, why am I making soup right now? I've got a crock pot of celery soup, and it smells really good. You can smell it. I'm like, I'm hungry now. But now I'm like, why did I do that when it's pizza? But what's in the pizza, Deborah?
I like spinach and ricotta cheese and maybe a little pesto, maybe some sun-dried tomatoes, maybe some artichoke hearts. That's a lot.
That sounds
probably
really
a little
good.
Mozzarella. Yeah, that'll warm you. Isn't there a place in Joshua Tree that has really good deep dish pizza?
I think
Isn't there a place?
I don't know.
There's a pizza place, and I don't know if they're open right now.
We've been kind of shut in.
Yeah. Right.
So we haven't done any of that. Yeah, I know, it's bizarre. And our friend Jerry has the inn here. It's like, hi, we're here. We're here for a couple of weeks, and then, hi, we're here longer. Sorry. And so I toast to Jerry for putting up with us.
Yeah, and she's got a beautiful chef's kitchen, and she lets me play in the kitchen, which is really fun.
Jerry's the person who got us to 29 Palms. We lived in the mountains in San Diego and Julian, and went through a lot of wildfires at the time, and ended up having to move out because some people need homes for kids going to school and stuff, and we can live anywhere. Now we travel, that's it, And she saw something we did. She's like, you have to come to 29 Palms and cover it. Like, well, where's 29 Palms? And then we found it, and it was like, oh, my God. So you do the loop between Anza Borrego Desert State Park up through here and Death Valley, and it's like this whole magic desert, and you can include Arizona, Grand Canyon. And so we moved out here, and I lived here for a little bit, and before we moved to Tucson. But so it's kind of like coming home here, and now she's retiring, and the whole property is up for sale. And
it's a beautiful property.
We understand she must retire. Times, things happen in life like that. But it's such a magic property. So it's bittersweet on that. It's really, you can see the mountains, and so pretty. But Nancy, what pizza are you eating?
Well, I have to have olives and mushrooms. I have to have some.
Oh, yeah, mushrooms.
Yeah. And I like the sun-dried tomatoes. That's a really good idea. Mm-hmm.
I like the pesto.
And I'm thinking about bacon. Can't help it.
I know. She's like, okay. Now, see, the pesto thing I'm still stuck on, because I put basil in the celery soup, and it's fresh basil right outside her door, and my hands smell like basil right now. So now I'm like, okay, I think I want basil. I want pesto, sun-dried tomatoes, and goat cheese and red onions. And I want a Greek salad deep dish pizza without the greenery. Like, I'll have to do spinach. I don't know, but I want a Greek salad, but with basil and spinach. Yeah. But I haven't had I can't remember the last time I've had a deep dish pizza. I think it's got to be I don't know. Many, many, many years. But anyway, we have to give a toast to pizza, because it's, one of the best, dishes ever created in the world. Department of the West, the title, department, using the word department, is brilliant to me. Like, I'm going, oh my God, that takes me back to just even how land management is, and good and sometimes not good, and what it takes you back to the Native American side. It just kind of like this weird, for me, interesting thing of how, like, when you think about the West, you think of the big, great, vast expanse of land. For me, I'm just saying my opinion, because everybody does everything different, but there's this big vastness. And then you start to see the phone lines and the electric lines and then the skyscrapers, then you start to see that we've departmentalized things in society too. So it's kind of this interesting thing of society and nature kind of merged together. Is that what you intended, or that's my opinion? I think.
Well, no, that's exactly what I feel like it's a lot of it's trying to atone for all that, and my, again, the unwitting histories were all the product of, as far as, and definitely there was many people on my father's side who were military and fought in wars and fought in the Indian Wars. And then I was realizing that, and that was heartbreaking. And, because when I was growing up, it took a while before I really learned what really happened, as far as Native American history. And then, so I was thinking of all that, and then there was some land that my siblings and I inherited from my father, and then in the end we couldn't agree on things and ended up selling it, and that was very sad and difficult. But in kind of doing a lot of personal work, I realized, that land was never ours. This land, the land, we move through it, we live on it, but ownership is such there's so much mythology around ownership, and there's so much hubris to it. And then, I'm a white woman, it's like there's so many privileges I've had without even knowing it till I looked at it. And so that helped me kind of realize, this land is not ours in the first place. And that was very freeing. And then at the same time, personally, and I think all of us who grew up and were born in the West, I was born in California, I feel so connected to the land and I've spent a lot of my life, like you, traveling around the Western states and feeling, in love with them, and the country and the rivers and the mountains, it's amazing. And so just to be really looking at personal history, bigger American history, and obviously you can't do it all, but that's where that name came from, definitely. It's kind of like the department. There was a lot of departments when it came to the part of American history where land was being taken from Native Americans. And so that's definitely came from that.
And what the land will tell you, definitely, I think is, it's like circled everywhere in my notes. Like that to me is like my favorite. I think that's because it's true. The land will tell you everything. The soil tells you what's going on. The sky tells you, hey, you can't see the stars anymore. There's a problem. And it tells you the good and the bad. It tells you, just even the desert lily this morning tells us, hey, we had rain and no one drove over you. You know what I mean? It's like
right.
It's a healthy sign. So there's these things, and that's why I love what the land will tell you is the land tells you everything. It really does.
Yeah, exactly.
I want. Which one should we close off with? The Department of the West, or what the land will tell you? You call it. You tell me what you want to play.
I think what the land will tell you.
Yeah,
what the land will tell you.
I love that. We'll close with that.
Very cool.
But everyone, again, DeborahCrooks.com is the website to go to. We want to thank the National Parks Arts Foundation for sponsoring today's show. The National Parks Arts Foundation, just talk about rocking for artists, musicians, poets, painters.
Awesome.
Their whole program is they work with parks so an artist can stay in a park for a month and create. And we're talking places like Hawaii Volcanoes National Park to Gettysburg National Military Park to the Dry Tortugas. You could stay on an island for a month, right? But you have to take someone with you because it's so remote on your own island. in the Florida Keys. I mean, hello, I'm in there. I'm ready. I know it's been really cool. Last year we do these First Friday shows where we interview the artist. This month was Queen Esther, and she's talking about Americana and as a black woman and how black artists actually are really the beginning part of Americana. And she'd listen to her TED Talk, and listen to her interview because of where banjo playing came from, and so she's really an intensely amazing artist and person who really delves into the history too. But so all these artists go out there and they do this residency, and I think it's really cool. Things have obviously changed up a little bit, but I encourage you to go connect with their website. They've got residencies coming up that you can apply for. It's nationalparksartsfoundation.org. I just talked with Tanya Ortega. She's the founder of the organization, and she's going to jump on our show on Tuesday with Lizzie Hara, who is from the Medicines Band, and they're based outside Smoky Mountains National Park, and they rock as well. She's awesome. You've got to be on a show with Lizzie, Deborah. You two should totally connect. You guys, it would have been awesome
great.
to put.
I want to connect with all these people.
I know. Now, the National Parks Arts Foundation, like you talked about going to residency, would that be something you would do? Go to stay in a park?
I would love to. I just did a residency at a Working Vineyard Chalk Hill Artist Residency in Sonoma, and started a new project about birds and people, and definitely, if I could just be in beautiful places making art, I'd be happy as a clam.
Yeah, I know, right?
All the time.
Well, yeah, it's so weird because we've been doing all these interviews with artists, and then we went to Chaco Culture National Historical Park in northern New Mexico last year, and you could see their art while you're standing there, and yet this is such a sacred ground and spiritual place and natural, and just talk about geology that blows your mind and all of that. But it's so odd to have that connection to the art. So it's different than going to a national park before you've talked to the artist. It's different because it's like you go to Joshua Tree, you hear your music in there, So it's this interesting thing that it's a different, I don't know, it's like this whole other layer of art and nature and history that come together with it. So it's really a different experience once you've experienced the art and then go. But everyone, nationalparksartsfoundation.org is the site. We'll be back tomorrow, April 6th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be chatting with world traveler Tom Matson about his book, The Other Worlds, Offbeat Adventures of a Curious Traveler. And it's wild. It's a wild ride, so take a listen to that. So thanks, everyone, for joining us. You can keep up with our shows, listen live or on demand. Just go to bigblendradio.com. Best thing to do is sign up for our newsletter. It comes out once a week and keeps you updated on articles and shows and all that good stuff. But we're going to close with What the Land Will Tell You. Again, the album is The Department of the West by Deborah Crooks. Go to our website, deborahcrooks.com. Thanks so much, Deborah. It's been a real pleasure.
That's been fun.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Take good care.
Yeah, you too.
Snow dust the hills, there's frost on the grass, mergansers diving without a gas. There's so much we all can say, but listen harder to what the land will tell you, what the land will tell you. River Valley, where the bears did roam, pronghorn hoof prints lead to the unknown. Sage as far as the eye can see. Will you believe what the land will tell you? What the land will tell you. Yes, it's me. She'll never be